Hi everyone, it's Teresa with Craving Crochet. I'm just going to be doing a tutorial on this beautiful little bear that I made for my grandson's first birthday. So I'm recreating it because there was a little girl at his party and she fell in love with it. I'll show it to you. Here it is. It's remade. It's so soft and cuddly and so cute. I put a little ribbon on the neck. It's for a little girl. She just, when she saw my grandson, she just went crazy with it. She wanted to take it home, so like, I'll make her one. Her birthday is coming up, so perfect gift for a little one. It's so soft and cuddly and squishy. And it comes like you have to make the face and then the ears, then the body, then you make the arms and you make the legs. And so you just do each part. Hopefully I will try my best to explain it all step by step. And then you put first, so you do the head, then you put the eyes and the nose in, then you decrease it. You'll see, you just have to follow the video. If you want to make one, it's not hard to make. It's a little bit tedious because you got to keep track. I like to keep track of the where the round ends so that I don't get confused. But it's so cute and so easy and so soft and pretty. I used this yarn, and it's like a velvet yarn. It's from the Bernat Baby Velvet. And the color is Misty Gray, and it's a medium 4, and it says to use a 5mm hook, 100% polyester. Care instructions on reverse side of label. Hopefully you won't have to be washing it too much, but maybe with a kid you might have to. Washing instructions. What does it say? I don't even see them here. Oh, it's right there. It looks like it's machine washable. Anyways, care instructions on reverse side of label. Okay, I guess this is it here. It just looks like the washing machine symbols here somewhere. Anyways, I hope you try it. It's called Mr. Snuggle. It's a free pattern from Hobby. I didn't use the recommended yarn from Hobby because I have to order from Hobby and it just takes way too long. I usually like to, when I'm making a pattern that somebody is offering free, I like to try and do it with the yarn that they are recommending for best results. But because of this pandemic, it's taking so long for me to get yarn from Hobby. It took me like 2 months last time. So I'm sorry, Hobby. I would love to try the yarn. Make another one if you want to send me some. Yeah, it's really cute. I hope you try it. It's not hard. It's just a lot of little pieces. And you will give a child lots of joy with this cute little toy that you hand make with love and hopefully give away to somebody that you love. I hope you try the tutorial. It's not hard. It's just there's a lot of little parts that you got to make. So I hope you give it a try, and thank you so much, and the tutorial is to follow. Everyone take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Hi. So today I'm going to be making this sweet little bear. I got this pattern on the Hobby website. It's a free pattern, and it says to use a 6mm crochet hook and a Hobby Snuggle solid color number 11, safety eyes, and stuffing. But I'm not going to buy anything from Hobby right now because it's just going to take too long. If you saw my other video, it took forever for me to get some yarn. So I got this yarn. I made one for my... Did I not record? Yes, I am recording. Sorry. Just want to make sure. Okay, so I'm using this yarn, which is a beautiful soft velvet yarn, which I got at Michael's. And it's a Bernat Baby Velvet. and it calls for it's a 4 medium 4, and it calls for a 5mm hook right there. And so this is the hook that I'm using, 5mm hook. Can you see it? Yeah. And this pattern is really easy to follow because it's got all these illustrations in it. But I put some pictures of it on my community. I put one picture on my community tab, and I asked people if they wanted to see a tutorial, and people said yes. So it's easy to follow. And so I made one for my grandson for his first birthday. He loved it, and his little cousin saw it, and she loved it. So I'm making one for his cousin to give away. And I'm going to see, somebody is also inquiring about buying some. So let me show you how I put this together. I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing we have to make is the head, and I don't have these little eyes yet. I gotta go buy them. But when I went to look for safety eyes, I couldn't find any at Michael's, and I didn't want to order them because I had to give this away as a gift for my grandson. So I used black buttons, and I sewed them on really tight because he's just 1 year old, and I wouldn't want them to come off. But I told my daughter, don't let him play with it, just wait till he gets older. But I did put them on really secure. But so you're supposed to make the head first, and you start out by making a magic circle. Okay, so you put the yarn around, you wrap it around your index finger and your middle finger, like so. So you make an X shape at the top, and then you insert your hook into the center, and then I grab that yarn, twist my hook around, and then I grab the yarn with my right hand, and I pull my fingers out slowly, and then you have this yarn, the tail end, hanging on the right side. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you, but it is a little confusing, but you got to practice and you'll get it. And then you just make a chain. So that's how you secure it. And so what the pattern says is to make a magic ring. I'll show you here. Make a magic ring and 6 single crochets in the ring. So in order to do that, now you just insert. Did I do that right? Let's try it again. You just insert the hook into the magic ring, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. So that's 1, grab some yarn, pull up a loop, and then pull through 2. That's 2, grab some yarn, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. That's 3, grab some yarn, pull up a loop, pull through 2. That's 4, grab some yarn, pull up a loop, pull through 2 loops. That's 5, grab some yarn, pull up a loop, and pull through 2 loops. So that's 6. That's 6 single crochets in that magic circle. And what I'm going to do to make it easier is I'm going to use, you have to do this, I don't know, it doesn't tell me on the pattern, but I thought I'm going to do this because I'm going to get lost trying to figure out where I started and where I left off. So to try and keep it organized somewhat. So I just put a safety pin. I'm using that as a stitch marker at the, so that tells me that's the last stitch that I made, right? I'm gonna, as I do that. So now you can secure your magic circle by pulling on the tail end, and then you pull it up, and that's it, because you don't join anything in this pattern. You're just always working in rounds pretty much. So you can easily get lost in, oh my goodness, where was I? Where did I start? So that's why I suggest you use a stitch marker. So the next set of instructions, according to the pattern, says to 2 single crochets in each stitch around until you have 12. Right now we have 6, so we're going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch, and by the time we get here where the stitch marker is, you should have 12. So let me just do the beginning, and I'm telling you, it's like sometimes it's hard to see the yarn, so you can't tell. It's kind of, it gets lost in the yarn. But anyways, let me try and demonstrate. So I'm going into that first single crochet, making, there's something here. Let me do that again. Something didn't look right to me. This thing got caught in there. Okay, let me do that again. Okay, so I believe this is the first single crochet here that I made. So I'm going to go into there, make 1 and 2. So that's 2. And then go into the next one. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, so that's 4. Go into the next one, make 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets, so that's now 6. So that's the third one, and then this is the fourth one, so fourth one, and then so we make 1, go back into that same one, so that's 8, and then this is the second last one, so make 1 single crochet in there, and then go back in there, make another single crochet in there, so that's 10. And then now I'm going to go into the last stitch. So I'm going to just leave it in there, the pin, and then I'll take it out after. 1 and 2. There. So we made the 12 single crochets, and this is coming loose, so you just tighten it again. The center. There we go. That's the beauty of the magic circle, right? You can just tighten it and close it up because you don't want any openings. But you know what? If you really struggle with this, you could probably just start out by doing a chain of 6 and then securing it at the end, and then you can always just sew it in. If you really struggle with the magic circle, that's another alternative. Instead of doing the magic circle and then 6 single crochets, I would just do maybe 6 chains and secure it, and then do your single crochets. You can try it, and then if there's a hole here, you can just sew it. It's not a big deal. It's a stuffed toy. A kid's not going to notice. I'm sure it's going to look fine. So that's the first row. So we did this. We made 2 single crochets around, and that made 12. So I need to remove the stitch marker from the previous row and put it in the top again here, my very last one, so I will know where my last one was. So then the next row is we are to crochet 1 single crochet in the first and then 2 single crochets in the next, and you're going to end up with 18. So let me just do a few on camera, and then I will meet you at the end of the round. So I believe that's the first single crochet, so I'm going to make 1 in there, and then I'm going to do 2 in the next one, which makes 3. So that's 1 and 2. So now we have 3. We're supposed to do a total of 18. So now in the next one I'm going to do 1, and the next one I'm going to do 2, and so on until I reach my stitch marker. So just continue in that fashion. The next one will be 1, the following will be 2, then 1, then 2, then 1 until you reach the end, and you should have 18 single crochets in that round. So I will meet you when I get to the end of the round. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the round, and I just have to make my last 2 single crochets where the stitch marker is, to make a total of 18 single crochets in that round. So there, I finished the second round. So let me pull out the stitch marker and put it back into the where I left off. Fun trying to get this out of here. There we go. It's fun. But the kids love this toy. They just love it. I know Luca's still a little bit little. That's my grandson. So he doesn't really know what's going on. Like, he didn't really play with it. Just because there were so many things going on at his party, so he didn't even he just looked at it and then he went on to the next thing. But it's so soft. It's velvet. It's beautiful, beautiful yarn. It'd be nice to make a blanket with this too for a baby. It's so pretty, so nice. So that was that round, and then round 3 is you're supposed to crochet one single. No, sorry, that was what we just did. Round 4 is single crochet one round. So you're gonna just do a single crochet in each of the single crochets that you just did. So I'm just gonna do the first one, and then I will meet you back. I'll meet you back when you reach. Meet me back when you reach your stitch marker. Okay, I'm at the end. I'm just going to do my last single crochet where that stitch marker is to make a total of 18 single crochets in the round. Starting to look good. So this is going to be like his face, right? So let me take out the stitch marker again and just attach it here to the top. Once again, this stitch marker helps me so much. I can't do it without stitch marker. I would be lost. I don't know. It's just a guide, and it's help. I find it's useful. I know it's a pain to put it on and take it off all the time, but if you want it, that's how I work with it. It's just, I feel like it just gives you a little bit more understanding of where you are in the pattern. Okay, so the next one, we're at number 5. It says make 2 single crochets. So you do 2 single crochets in the first 2 stitches and then 2 in the next. So let me just demonstrate. So for a total of 24, right? So you go to the first stitch, make 1 single crochet, so that's 1. Then you go in the next one, you make a single crochet, that's 2. And then in the third one, you're gonna make 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. So now we have a total of 4. And then what we do is just continue that pattern. That's what that asterisk means, right? You just do two single crochets in the next 2 stitches and then 2 in the following one. So I'll just show you one more time. So that's 1 and 2, and then in the next one you make 2 in that same stitch. So just continue in this fashion until you reach the stitch marker, and then at the stitch marker you should have a total of 24 single crochets made. I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm coming to the end of the round, and I have to make 2 single crochets where that stitch marker is. So I'm going to take it out because I don't want it to get stuck. It kind of gets stuck once you do it. So that's 1 once you work the stitches in, and 2. So now we have a total of 24 single crochets in there. So let me just put the stitch marker back on. I'm just very don't want to mess it up. But you know what? If you mess it up a little bit, the kid's not going to notice. But you know how us crocheters are. We are perfectionists. I must say, I totally am a perfectionist. I think most of us are. Because it can be a little tedious doing crochet, but that's why we're crocheters. We love that tediousness. So the next row, or the next round, says to make 3 single crochets and then 2. So you go into the first 3 and you make 1, 2, and 3, and then 2, and then continue, repeat that 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 until you get to 30. So let me just do the beginning again. So we will go into the first one. So that's 1, 2, go into the next one. Where is the next one? 1, 2, 1, 2, I think it's this one. 3, and then we do 2 and that same stitch. And then just carry on the same way. So you do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, all the way around. So I will meet you back at the stitch marker, and we should have 30 by that time. So I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm near the end. I have 28 stitches counted, and now I have to do 2 more to make a total of 30. So let me remove the stitch marker and make my next 2 single crochets where I just remove the stitch marker. So you insert your hook, grab a loop, go through 2, insert your hook, grab, make a loop, and make another single crochet. So there's 2 in there, so we have a total of 30. So let me grab my stitch marker once again and attach it to that very last single crochet that we made. So there we are. So now the next part of this round is to do another single crochet round of 1 single crochet in each stitch to make a total of 30. So I'm just going to start that. I'm not going to record that. I'll meet you once I get to my stitch marker again. So I'll just do 1 to show you. So you go into the next single crochet and you make 1, and then go in the next, make 1, all the way around till you reach the end, and you should have a total of 30. So I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm at the last one again. So I'm at 29 single crochets. Remove your stitch marker, go into that last single crochet from the previous round, and there you go. I made a total of 30 single crochets in that round. So now I will put my stitch marker on because I do not want to get lost in this. So anyway, so we did that. That was round 7. Now we're on round 8. So now we're going to do 4 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 2, and that should give us a total of 36. So let me just do the first to show you, and then I'll meet you back at the stitch marker again. So we go into the first single crochet here. So that is 1, go into the next one, 2, go into the next one, 3, and go into the next one, 4. So we made a single crochet in the first 4 single crochets. And then when we get to the 5th single crochet, you're going to make 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and then you're just going to repeat that. So do 4 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 2, all the way around till you reach the stitch marker, and at the end of this round we should have 36 single crochets done. I'll meet you back. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so I did the last 4 stitches, so and it gave me a total of 34. So now I have to do 2 in my last stitch here where I just took out my stitch marker. So, and that'll give me a total of 36 single crochets. Starting to look good, like a little snuggle face. This is such a cute project. So, you know what I'm going to do now, right? I'm going to put my stitch marker back right away so I don't forget. So that was that row. That was row 8. And now the next row is 5. So you do 5 single crochets and then 2, 5 and 2, 5 and 2, all the way around to make 42 single crochets. I will demonstrate the first part. So we'll go into the next single crochet, or the very first single crochet from the previous round, and we're going to make 1 single crochet there, go into the next one, 2, go into the next one, 3, go into the next one, 4, and then go into that next one and make 4. No, wait a minute, was that 4? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to make 5. 1 more. So the first 5, and I make 5. Okay, yes, I did do 5. It's hard to tell, especially when you're trying to do a video on it. So that's 5, and then you do 2 in the next stitch. So that makes a total of 7. And then we're going to do again 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. All the way around till you get to the stitch marker. And then when we get there, we should have 42 single crochets. So I will meet you back when I reach this part. Okay, so I'm at the end of the round and I'm up to 40 single crochets. So I have to make 2 more in the last stitch where the stitch marker is. So I'm going to take it out, make my 2 single crochets in that last stitch to make a total of 42. Okay, and I will put my stitch marker back. Don't like to get confused. This helps me a lot, and I think it will help you as well. So that was 42, and then we have to make 2 rounds of 42. And then when we get to round 12, we have to start attaching the eyes. And yeah, we have to attach the nose is attached between rows 2 and 3, and the eyes are attached between rounds 6 and 7 with 4 or 5 stitches in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 42, 42, and then I'm going to put my eyes in and nose. I'll show you. I'll try and show you how to do this. I got to see if I can find some safety eyes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use buttons again. So I'm going to complete those 2. You can go ahead and complete those 2 rounds of 42, and meet me back at round 12 where we're going to attach everything. And then we'll go on to 13 to the end to finish this piece. Okay, so I completed my last row of 42. Then we have to start doing decreases. But then the pattern says the nose is attached between round 2 and 3, which is, that's round 1, that's round 2, hold on, let me see this. That's round 1, that's round 2, that's round 3. So between 2 and 3, so I'd say about here somewhere. And then it says between 2 and 3, and then the eyes are attached between round 6 and 7 with 4 to 5 stitches in between. So I have to count. So the nose will be here and the eyes will be here at some point. I have to sort that out off camera because that would take me, forget it, it'll take me too long. So I'm going to use these buttons, 2 eyes and a nose, and I'm using this very strong embroidery, black embroidery thread that I got. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the eyes and the nose. Yeah, like you see in the picture, it's not right in the center. It's like it says, between round 2 and 3. So I'm going to start attaching the eyes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and do it on camera, but if I find that it's difficult, then I'll try and guide you through it, but we'll see. I'll be right back. Gotta get my needle and thread ready. Okay, so just to recap, I've just put these on here rough, like just on top so I can show you. And it says again, just one more repeat. The nose is attached between round 2 and 3, which is about there. The eyes are attached between round 6 and 7, which is about here, and about 4, 5, 6 stitches apart. So that's where I've placed them. Hopefully that is uniform and, what's the word I'm looking for? Symmetrical? I hope so. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew them on. So this is the needle and thread. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do that off camera. And then I will come back when that is done, and then we can start doing some decreases on this head and stuffing it. I will be back. Okay, so I have the nose and I have one eye on, and I've just put the other eye in the position. So this is how I double threaded a needle, so it's got double thread, and then I put a knot at the end. And the reason why I'm doing this is because sometimes I'll get comments and people will say, how do you sew it on? So I mean, I'm not really trying to show you how to sew. Most people know basic sewing, but I thought, let me just show how this is the needle, double thread. You put a knot at the end, and then the button, it goes through the back. You can see, I'll just start a little bit of it on camera. And you just start sewing through where that button. Let me see, do I have another one here? Where's the other package? The rest of the package. I can't find it. I don't want to take it out. But it's got like a little section. So you just start sewing like that. And you just start putting it through that, I don't even know what it's called. That little part of the button, the back of the button, it's got like a hole in it. And it's for sewing. So that's how I do it. So I'm just going to do the rest off camera. I just thought I would get on camera to show. Okay, I'll be back. Alrighty, I have the eyes and the nose on my little bear. So I guess that's his mouth down there. Anyways, next instruction is, it says crochet 5 single crochets and then 2 together and repeat until you have 36. So I will just start the beginning. So 5 single crochets. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5, and then when you get to the 6th stitch, you go through 1 and then go through the 7th one. So that's how you do 2 together. So then you just carry on 5 and 2, 5 and 2, 5 and 2, all the way around. I didn't put a stitch marker in. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to count backwards and put my stitch marker back in because I cannot do it without the stitch marker. It will totally confuse me and throw me off. So anyways, I will meet you back at the stitch marker. Gotta put the stitch marker back in. Okay, so I did that row round. So now I'm on 14 where I do 4 single crochets and 2 together all the way around till I hit 30, till I make it, I'm reducing it now to 30, decreasing. So I'll just do the first set. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 become 1, so that makes 5. All right, I'll meet you back at the stitch marker. Okay, so I finished that round, and now I have to start putting some stuffing in this little head. So, this is the inside, so I don't need to worry about any loose ends. I'll just throw them in there. No one's gonna see them. There. That's looking cute. That's looking cute. Really cute. All right, so now we have to start to decrease. Fill the head with stuffing. Make sure it is filled before the opening is closed off. So I think that's enough stuffing. I can add just a little bit more. Oops. Stuff it nice so that it's got a nice cute little head. Yeah, that looks good. That looks great. I don't know what this is sticking out here. Stick it back in. There we go. It's so cute. Okay, so where am I? Put my hook here. And so now we have to start to decrease. So I have to do 3 single crochets and then 2 together to get 24. I think I'm going to run out of yarn here. So I will just do the first set quickly to show you. Come out, stitch marker, come out. Okay. So 3 and then 2. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 together. So 1 and 2, and that makes, oops, oh, let's do that again. 1 and 2. There we go. So I'm going to carry on, and you carry on this way, sticking your stuffing in as you go, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I did that round, 15, now we're on 16. So we do 2 and 2, 2 and 2 to get 18. So I'll just do the first one. 1, 2, and then 2 together. Wait, where's the stitch? Just like that. So just carry on the same fashion, 2 and 2 all the way around till you reach the stitch marker. I'll meet you back. Okay, so I took a little bit of stuffing out because I found that it was too much. So so I did that, row 16. Now I'm on 17, so you do 1 single crochet and 2 together till you get 12. So I'll just do the first 1 and then 2 together. We're coming down to the end, so this is going to be the back of the head. So I will be back at the stitch marker. Okay, so I am on the last row. It says crochet 2 together, repeat. So you just keep doing the 2 together all the way around. That's 1 and 2. That's all you do, all the way around. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So you just keep getting 2 stitches and making them 1. And I didn't do that right. Do it one more time to show you. So next stitch, and then the following stitch after that. Just like that, see? And it's starting to decrease, and there's a cute little face. We're almost done, the head. I'll be back. Okay, so I've finished that, and I have about 6 stitches left according to the pattern. And then it says sew the opening shut and fasten the tail off. So I've threaded my needle, and then I'm just going to sew it shut. Just like this. Just start sewing from one side to another until the opening is closed. Just like this. Just keep going from one end to the other and sew it shut. And we have the head just about done. Just like that. Here we go. Okay, that's all you do, and then you just sew in any loose ends by weaving it in, and the head's just about done. Cute, eh? Oops, I'll be back. Okay, so that's all sewn in. I have to tidy these up. I'll do that later. But the next part of the pattern for the head says setting the eye. So it says pull the yarn up through the head out on the outer side of the eye. So let me see. I guess you have to put your needle into the back and then up to the side of the eye. The outer side of the eye. Okay, so let's try this. So I guess that gets lost in there. It's in the head. And then it says so you go from one side to the next. And I guess you go back through the back to pull it out. It just kind of reinforces the eyes a bit. Oh, we don't want to cover the eye. I guess that helps to set the eye a bit, right? So you just do that on each side. Yeah, okay, so that sets the eye in. And then I'm going to repeat that for the other eye. So I don't like this piece of yarn in here. I'm going to try and, it keeps sticking out, I don't know why. So then what I'm going to do the other side, so just go in the back of the head and just weave it through to the side of that eye. And then it says to go to the other side. And that just sets the eyes in. There, see? Oh, that's so cute. See how it sets it in? That is so cute. I didn't finish pulling, did I? Oh, the more you pull, the more definition it gives the eye. Okay. I get it. Awesome. Okay, so that's how you do that to give it a little more. I'm going to try and do it again on this side because this doesn't seem. All right, I did it. I set in the eyes. It looks so cute, and I fixed that mouth. Okay, so now we're going to do the ears. So I started my magic ring. I made a stitch, a chain, and then it says to make 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'll just show you how I do that. 1, 2, insert your hook in the ring, pull up a loop, and then draw through both. So that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to put my little stitch marker here. I'm very I just want it to be perfect, so I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to miss anything. Because it can get confusing with this yarn too, because it's a little bit. And then I didn't tighten it up because I found that when I tighten it up, it's really hard to see where the first stitch is. So I thought, let me not tighten it up. Let me just leave it loose and then I can tighten it up later. So what we're supposed to do, so I did the 6 single crochets in the ring, and now we're supposed to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So when I tightened it up, I couldn't even find my first stitch. So now that it's not tight, it's easier to see. There's the first stitch. So that's the tail. We don't want the tail. We want the working yarn. So you insert it and pull through 2 and then go in there again. So that's 2. Go into the next one. 1 and 2, so that's 4, 5, 6. Make sure I'm in the right spot. 5, 6. The next one. 7, 8, 9, 10. And here's where the stitch marker is, and that's where the last, what is this? That is where, that's probably just the tail. Yeah, that's the last single crochet. I'm gonna take this guy out because he might get stuck in there. Let me remove it and make my last 2 single crochets in the last stitch. 1 and 2, so that is 12. Now you can tighten it up. Hopefully it worked. Yeah, it did. If you make the magic circle correctly, it should tighten up. Yeah. Okay. So now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my stitch marker on here because I don't want to get I want it to be perfect. And I don't want to get confused. It can get confusing. Okay. So next, we're going to make 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next, and repeat till you get 18. So I'll start the first single crochet by doing 1, and then I'm going to go into the next and make 2. 1 and go back into that same stitch and make 2, and I'll meet you back. I'm going to continue that pattern 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 until we get to the end of the. Okay, so I'm at the end of the round. I took the stitch marker out and I just have to make my last 2 single crochets in that space to make a total of 18. So now I'm going to add my stitch marker back like so, and then the next instruction is the next instruction is make 2 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches, so 1 and 1, 2, and then you get to the third one, you make 2. So I'll quickly demonstrate, and that's to make 24 in the round. So you start out by making 2. So go into the next stitch. I put my stitch marker back. Here's the next stitch. So that's 1 single crochet in that stitch. Then I go to the next second stitch. 1 single crochet in the second stitch, and then the third stitch you make 2. 1, and then go back in there and make 2, and then just repeat that. Do 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So I'll meet you back at the end of the round, and we should have 24. Okay, so coming to the end of the round, I'm taking out my stitch marker and then doing my last 2 single crochets in that space to make a total of 24 single crochets. Okay, so I've reached the end of round 4, and what it says to do is fold the ear flat. Fold the ear flat and crochet the opening together with a slip, with a single crochet. So that's the ear folded flat. I guess I'll cut this yarn a little bit here. It's too long. Then I turn it folded flat, crochet, fold the ear flat and crochet the opening together with a single crochet. So like so. So it looks like a taco. And so what you do is you just simply make single crochets along the edge like this, folding it in half and single crocheting it together to form a little ear, a little snuggly ear, Mr. Snuggle ear, just like this, all the way across. So you could sew it, but it's just as easy just to single crochet it like this all the way across. Do one more, and then it says to leave a long tail. So and then there's the little ear. Oh, isn't that cute? So we're gonna put that, oops, we're gonna just ignore that. That's my phone. Somebody messaging me. Yeah, so we're gonna make another one like this. Just do exactly what I did, and then we're gonna sew it onto the head with this long tail. So just make another one, and then we'll go on to the body. Actually, I gotta put the ears on first. I missed that. So, because I'm doing it out of sequence, when I did the pattern, when you follow the pattern, you're supposed to do each part and sew it together as you do it. So, you gotta put his little ears on. So we're gonna sew on his ears. One on one side, one on the other. It's starting to look so cute. So let me do that, and then I'm gonna do the body. And then we do the arms and the legs. And I'll try and demonstrate how I'm sewing the ear. I started I just put it to, I'll show you the front. I put it about here, and then I just started weaving my loose end, that yarn that you're supposed to leave, and then you just sew it in and out, just like this. And then you do the same on the other side. Easy pattern. It's so cute. I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, his ears are on. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the body. So to make the body, you have to make another magic circle. So I made a magic circle, and I made just a chain at the beginning, and then you have to make 6 single crochets in the magic circle. So let me just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are my 6 single crochets. Here's my stitch marker. So I always like to put a stitch marker so I don't get confused, and this one is a little bit bigger, so it might help. Okay, so that's that. And then that's the first row. The second row is to make 2 single crochets in each round. That's what we've been doing pretty much in every piece so far. So I'm not going to tighten it yet. I'm going to start by making 2 single crochets in the first single crochet of the round, which is about here. So 1 and 2. Oops, it's catching this thing. That was 1, and then go back into that stitch, and 2, and then go into the next one and do the same thing. 1 and 2. So just you carry on and I carry on doing this, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Coming to the end of the round, I have to make another 2 in the last. I took the stitch marker out in the last stitch, so that's 1, 2, so that makes 12. So that's the end of round 2. Let me see if I can tighten this magic circle up. Sorry, it's off camera. You just pull it and it tightens up. Okay, looking good. All right, so let me put my stitch marker back. And then the next round we have to make 1 single crochet and then 2. 1 single crochet and then 2 to make 18. So I'll just do the first set like I always do. And then I'll meet you at the end of the round. So 1, and then go in the next stitch and do 2. 1 and 2, so that's 3. So we're going to repeat that. 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2. So I'll meet you back when we get to the stitch marker. Okay, I'm at the end of the round. Take out the stitch marker and make 2 single crochets where that stitch marker was to make 18. Okay, so let's put the stitch marker back, and then the next row I believe you have to do 2 single crochets and 2 single crochets to make 24. So I'll just start the beginning of it. 1 set, so you go into the first single crochet and you make 1, go into the second single crochet and you make 1 single crochet, go into the third and make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and we're just going to continue in that fashion. So 2, 1 and 2, and then 1, 2 in the same stitch, 1 and 2, 1, 2. Sorry, I'm not even on camera. 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, all the way around. I'll meet you back when we get to the stitch marker, and we should have 24 stitches. Okay, I'm at the end of the round. So I take out the stitch marker. I know I'm being very repetitive, aren't I? But so do 2 more in there for a total of 24. Put your stitch marker back on. That's the rule. Put the stitch marker back on. Okay, so we've done that. So now we're going to do 3 single crochets and 2. So 1, 2, 3 in the first 3, and then 2 in the 4th. So the first 3 you make 1, and the 5th one you make 2. And then you continue in that fashion. 3 and 2, 3 and 2 until you get to 30. I'll just start the first one, the first set, just to show you. So go into that first stitch, make 1 single crochet, go into the second stitch, make 1 single crochet, go into the third stitch, make 1 single crochet, and now we're at the 4th stitch, and you make 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and just carry on in that fashion. Meet me back at the stitch marker. Okay, I'm at the end again, and I have 28 single crochets made so far, so I have to make 2 now in the last one. That gives us a total of 30 single crochets in round 5. So let me put my stitch marker back on so I don't forget where I am. Gotta do that, that's very important. It helps me a lot. Okay, so the next one we do is round 6, and we do 4 single crochets and then 2, 4 single crochets and then 2, for a total of 36. I'll start the first set. So 4 single crochets, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 in each of the first 4 stitches, and then 2 in the 5th stitch. 1 and 2, and just continue that pattern till you reach the stitch marker. I'll meet you back. Okay, I've reached the end of the round, so I have 34. Take the stitch marker out, go into that same stitch and make 2 single crochets. So we have a total of 36. Yeah, okay. Put the stitch marker back on. And then the next one I believe is 5. Put the stitch marker back on and the camera so people can see what I'm doing. And so the next row is row 7, and we have to do 5 single crochets and then 2. 5 single crochets and then 2 to get to 42. And then we're going to repeat that 3 times. So I'll do the first one. First set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in that next stitch. So now we have 7. Then we're going to do another 5 and 2, 5 and 2, 5 and 2. Keep continuing that way till we get to the stitch marker. Okay, I'm at the end of the round. So I got to take out the stitch marker, make 2 single crochets in that stitch to make a total of 42. Okay, so now we have to repeat that row. Okay, I did row 7, then I got to do row 8, row 9, and row 10. So then we have now we have to do 3 rows of 42. Just continue in this fashion, just doing 1 single crochet all the way around. Put your stitch marker back in and meet me back when you've done your single crochets. So you don't have to worry about, you just count 1 in each stitch. Okay, I will meet you back when I've reached the end of row 10. Alright, so I did row 8, 9, and 10. This is what my work looks like. It's a little body. starting to form. And then now row 11, so I put my stitch marker back. Row 11 is crochet 5 single crochets and then 2 single crochets together. So now we are doing decreases. So we start with 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have to do 2 single crochets together. And how we do that is you go into one stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops. So that's our first decrease. So we've done 5 plus those 2 decreases, which makes 6. So you just continue in that fashion, making 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then 2 together, 1 single crochet in the next 5, 2 together, until you come to the stitch marker. And when we reach there, we should have a total of 36 stitches, because now we're decreasing. So meet me back at the stitch marker at the end of the round. Okay, so I reached the end of the round, and I took out the stitch marker, and it was like the stitch before, and then I did 2 together. So I made 36. So let me put the stitch marker back in. And then the next set of instructions says to, in the next row, is to make, so where were we here? 30, right? No, hang on, where did we go? 36. And then, so now we're on row 12. So single crochet in each stitch around to make 36, and then we're going to start decreasing again. So let's do that row 12, and meet me back when you're done that. Okay, I'm almost at the end of the round, so I'm going to take out the stitch marker, make my last stitch to make 36. Put my stitch marker back. Now we're going to start to do another round of decreases. So that was round 12, then round 13, and so now we're going to do 4 single crochets and then 2 together and repeat to get down to 30. So I will do the first set. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and then 2 together. 1 and 2, and then just continue in that fashion. This is looking cute. Meet you back at the stitch marker. Okay, I'm coming down to the home stretch, so I have to do 2 together. I'm going to take the stitch marker out. So you go into that next stitch, pull up a loop, go into the last stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all the loops. So we've done row 13. So the next set of instructions, row 14, is to single crochet in each. Single crochet all the way around for a total of 30 again. So let's just do that and meet me back. I'm going to put the stitch marker back on there, and then I'm going to do the row or the round, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I have done my row 14, and I made another round of single crochets in each of the previous stitches to make another 30. And now on row 15, I'm just going to tick it off so I know that that's where we are. You're supposed to crochet 3, so just like this. Here, let me just, I don't know if I was on camera, so. Okay, so go into that first one, make a single crochet, go into the second one, make a single crochet, and go into the third one, and make a single crochet. So you're doing 3 single crochets and then 2 single crochets together. And how you do that is you insert your hook into the next one, pull up a loop, and then insert your hook into the next single crochet and pull up a loop, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. And then you just put all 3 loops to form the 2 single crochets into 1. So that's a decrease, and so you're just going to keep doing that. So we're going to do 3 and then 2 together, 3 and 2 together all the way around. When we get to the end of this round, we should have 24 single crochets. So I'll meet you at the end of the round. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the round. I removed the stitch marker, so I'm just making my last 2 together, like so. So that is the end of row 15. Now row 16, we have to just do a round all the way around of single crochets, and we should have 24. So I'm going to put my stitch marker back on, and then I will go around and meet you back at the end of round 16. Okay, so I have completed row 16. Now we're on row 17. And what we're supposed to do in this row is single crochet 1 round. So do another round. And then begin filling the body with stuffing. So I'm gonna do another round, and then I'll start stuffing. I'll come back when I start stuffing. Okay, so I've finished this round 17, and so I've done 24 all the way around, and then it says begin filling the body with stuffing. So here's some stuffing. Hold on a second here. Try and demonstrate stuffing to make that body. Hold on, I get to grab some more. I may have to go buy some more stuffing. Just a little more stuffing. Starting to shape his little body into a little bear body. So then what we do next is begin filling the body, and then it says to crochet 2 single crochets and then 2 together, and you do that to get 18. So I will start that for you and then meet you back. So let me just show you quickly. So put that back on. So it says to do 2 single crochets and then 2 together, and you continue doing that pattern all the way around, or that stitch sequence all the way around. So we do 1, 2, and then 2 together. 1 and 2, like so, all the way around till the stitch marker. I hope you saw that. I'll do another one just in case that was off camera. So you go into the next stitch, which is here. So 1 and 2, and then 2 together. So you go into 1 stitch and then go into the next. So there we go. So I did that twice, all the way around till we get to the stitch marker, which is here, and we should have 18 when we reach the end of that round. So meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so I'm coming to the end, so we have to make 2 together. So 1, and then where that stitch marker is, take it out, and there we go. We're at the end of that round. So we've done 18. And so now we have to make another round of 18. So row 19 and row 20, we just continue doing rounds. And then I will meet you back at 21. Okay, so I finished those 2 rounds, 19 and 20. So now we're at row 21. So we do 1 single crochet and then 2 together until we get all the way around till we get 12. So I'll just quickly demonstrate. So 1 single crochet and then 2 together, and I'll just continue in that fashion. I'm going to keep stuffing this, and I'll meet you back at the end of that round. Okay, so I finished that last round. This is what it looks like, and then it says to do single crochet 12, finish filling the body, cut the yarn. leave a long tail for assembly. So I'm going to put a little more stuffing in here. I have a hair on my table. And I might have to go get more stuffing to stuff the rest of the body. So I'm going to add more. Let me pull this out so it doesn't... Yeah. That looks like a cute little body. Yeah, and then I just have to do 12 again. And then you sew it to the body. You put the head on here. Once I have to finish the head, I got to get the safety eyes. So I'm going to do another 12, and I'll show you what it looks like when I complete that. And then we're going to start making the arms. I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished that round, the last round, round 22, and I'm just adding a little bit more stuffing. And then it says to cut the yarn, leaving a long tail, and then sew it to the head. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to assemble everything after, because I'm just doing, as I'm recording this, I don't have the safety eyes yet. I have to go buy them. So I'm just doing it in parts first, and then I'll show you how I assemble it. So I'm just going to leave the long tail, cut my yarn, pull it through. So the head's going to go here on top of this body. So it looks pretty, looks like the picture, doesn't it? There's the picture. The pattern is great because it shows you step by step what to do. But yeah, so that's the body of that cute little bear. It's gonna look so cute. I love making these, it's so nice. Okay, so I'm gonna add the head now. I've threaded my needle with this long tail that we left. And I guess I will start from about here and just start sewing on this cute little head to the cute little body, just like that. This is easy. It's just a lot of little parts. There's 8 parts. There's the head, the 2 ears, the body, the arms, and the legs. So you make each part and then you sew it all together, and it's so adorable. This is going to be for Luca's little cousin for her birthday. It's for a little girl, so she's gonna love it. Her mom says she loves stuffed toys, so yeah, so you just go through, go along, and just sew all the way around. I'll meet you back when I'm done. Okay, I'm back. My memory card was full, so I made the magic ring. And now I have to make 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So you do that just by simply inserting the hook in the center. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to attach my trusty safety pin / stitch marker. I can see what I'm doing. Get that out of the way. Oops. And then I just put my stitch marker in there, and then the next set of instructions is to do 2 single crochets into each stitch. So there's 5, so if you do 2, that's going to make 10. So I will show you how I start that. I'm going to pull it up. I find that when you tighten it, that it's hard to see where to start. So I'm going to just do, where do I start here? So if I guess I'd have to go all the way over here. Yes, that's the end. So let's see if I can show you how to start it. Oh, that's the tail end. Make sure you use your working yarn, not the tail end, because you're going to run out of yarn. Get that out of the way. So I believe that's my first single crochet. So you make 2 in there, and then 2 in all of them, all the way around. So let me finish that, and then I'm going to tighten this up and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm coming to the last stitch, and so I took out stitch marker and I make 2 single crochets in there. So now we have a total of 10. So the next one is we're gonna start increasing. So we do, let me put my stitch marker in. We do 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. Let me just quickly show you my yarn. Okay, so 1 single crochet, right? 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So you go into the next stitch and you make 2. 1, go back in there, and 2, and then you're going to continue doing that. Do 1 in the next one, and then 2 in the next one, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, all the way around till you get to the stitch marker, and we should have 15. So I will meet you at the stitch marker. So I'm almost at the end of the round, so I'm making my 13th one in that stitch, and then I take out the stitch marker and I do 2 where that stitch marker was to make 15 single crochets. So we're done this one, row 3 or round 3, and now we're going to do another round, 1 in each stitch to make 15. So I will start that. Actually, let me put my stitch marker back in, and I'll just do a couple, and then I'll meet you at the end of the round. There's just a bunch of little parts that you make, and then you sew it all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, I'm almost at the end. So that was 13. Now go into this stitch, 14, and remove the stitch marker. Go into that last stitch, and that's 15. So we've done round 4. So now we are to do, we're starting to decrease already. So 1 single crochet and then 2 together, and you repeat that all the way around until you have 10. Let me put my stitch marker in. I hope I'm getting everything on camera. Yeah, I hope so. It's just so different when you're just doing a project and you're not worrying about recording it. It's so different than when you're recording it. So I will show you quickly how I do that, and then we have to start making a bunch of repeat rows of 15 or 10, sorry. So you do 1 single crochet in the next row, in the next round, so 1, and then you do 2 together. So you go to this stitch, insert, and then go to the following stitch, insert, pull up the loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, and then just pull through all 3 loops, and that puts those 2 stitches into 1. And so just continue in that fashion. Do 1 and then 2 together, 1 all the way around. We should have 10 by the time you reach the safety pin, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the round, so I have to do my last 2 together in order to make 10, reduce to 10. So you put that crochet hook in that stitch, pull up a loop, and go into the next single crochet, and you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you pull through all 3. So that gives us 10. So next, what we have to do is just continue making rounds of 10, and you have to do that 15 times. That's why I have these here from last time I made this. And then I did it again because I had to make the other arm. So I'm going to do 15 stitches all the way around 10 single crochets all the way around for a total of 15 rounds, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so what I did was I put my stitch marker back in. I forgot to say that. And then just start making your single crochets in that next single crochet from the previous round. And you do that for a total of 15 times. So I'll meet you back at the end of the 15 rounds. Alrighty, so I finished doing those 15 rows of 10 single crochets. So now what the pattern says is to fill arms lightly with stuffing. So I have a little bit of stuffing here. Let me just make this long so I don't lose track here, because then we have to put it together. So just don't put too much stuffing in, because they have to kind of be floppy, right? Like the picture. So let's see if I can do this on camera. So just stuff in lightly, so it's not too much. So it has that floppy look. This is such a cute project. So much fun to make. That might be too much. Oh yeah, that's too much. Way too much. So, let's see here. Yeah, you don't want it too full. I'm just gonna stick some, oops! Stick my crochet hook in here and push it in so that it's more on the bottom, so the top is more not stuffed, right? Just lightly. Try and do it the same on each side. I don't think I'm going to put any more in. I think that's perfect. Yeah, I think so. I don't want to overdo it. And then it says to fill arms lightly with stuffing, fold the ends flat, and single crochet around the opening. Cut the yarn, leaving a long tail for assembly. Okay, so single crochet shut. That's pretty straightforward. I'll do it for you. So, get your yarn, I have to make my stitch, I had to tighten it up. So then you fold it in half. Let me just see here, just how we did the ears. Fold it in half. Maybe start on this end. Yeah, I have to start on this end. Folded it in half. And then just go through both sides by single crocheting through both sides, just like that. Easy peasy, and it's so cute. I love making this bear. So that's it. I single crocheted it. So now I'm going to leave a long tail. Cut my yarn. And so now, this is when you sew it onto the body, you have a nice long tail. So now you do the same thing. Just repeat what we just did for the first arm. Just repeat it and do it for the second arm. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll meet you back when I finish the second arm. Okay, here are both of the arms done. So, okay, so I'm going to put the arm on now. I put his head on his body. Now I'm going to add his arm. So I'm going to place it about, just so that's at the back there. It's just hard for me to film it because I don't have a lot of space. So I'm going to sew it off camera, but just to show you, you just place it, I can't even get him on the camera. Place it about here, or you just eye it the way you like it. And I'll be back once that's sewn on. And actually I'm going to sew both arms, and then I'll show you how to put the feet on, the legs. Okay, I'm going to try and show you how to make the magic circle once again. I think I did earlier in the video. It's just that you gotta, every part, every piece pretty much needs, you make a magic circle, you have to make one here for the face, so that's the middle of the face. You have to do it for the ears, the arms, the body, and the feet. So I hope I can show you this. Sometimes I struggle with it and I have to redo it a few times, but so let me just show you again slowly. You wrap the yarn around these two fingers and then over so that it's hanging down here. Okay, so you have an X shape. You get your hook, put your hook through the first and the second, and then I just twist it up, turn my fingers around, and let go. But I actually like to twist it this way because I like to have this yarn on this side. I don't know why, it always works better for me when I do that. And then you have to make a stitch or a chain in order to secure it. So that's your magic circle. It looks very floppy, but it works. So now you have to make 6 single crochets in that ring. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I was trying to, like, when I go into the next round without pulling this, but that's not working either. I'm finding it very difficult. I can't see where the stitches are. So you just have to keep trying until you get it. It's just because I don't know if it's the yarn, it's hard to see. So I'm going to put my stitch marker in the very first, or the very last single crochet that we made. And now I'm going to tighten this up just by pulling on that tail. And there you go. See, it's secured. And it's nice because you won't have a hole. And you need it to be nice and secure. So you don't have a hole, because then if you do, you'd see little holes here in his face and his mouth. So you have to make a magic circle. So then another challenge I was finding is trying to figure out where to start working my second round. So in this case, I have to make 2 single crochets in each stitch in order to make my next round, which is 12. So what I did was, see, I put this stitch marker in here. If I can show you. It's so hard to video it and show you and see what I'm doing all at the same time, but I'm trying. So that's the last one. So that's 1. So I just count backwards. 1. If that helps. I'm just trying to give you some tips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I believe that's where the next stitch is. Does that make any sense? Where is my working? Oh, here. It's 'cause, oh, here it is. So try it that way if you're struggling with trying to figure out. Oh no, that's my tail. Try it that way. Just count backwards to see exactly where the first stitch is. That might be helpful. So I'm just going to do that off screen, off camera, because I can't see it. And I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have to make 2 single crochets in each of the single crochets that you made in the first round. So I was off camera because I'm like, have it so close to my face because I can't see. So there's the first single crochet. So that's 1. I'm so nearsighted it isn't funny. 2. And then you go into the next one, which I believe is here. 3. No, 3. 4. 5. Sorry. 6. 7. 8. That's why I put the stitch marker in. 9, 10. Actually, I missed a stitch. I'm supposed to do one here. Oh dear. So if you struggle with it, you're not the only one. 9, 10, and then here, that's where the stitch marker was. 11 and 12. Whew! Okay, done. It's just because it's so small, it's so hard to see, and it's kind of bulky yarn. So that's our second row, and then we have to make 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next 2 in order to increase it to 18. So I'm going to tighten that up and put my stitch marker in, which I find it helps. Sometimes it gets all intertwined into the yarn and it gets stuck. So then you make a single crochet. Guessing that's where the first one was. Can't see what I'm doing. Can't find it. It is a little tedious. But once it gets bigger, it's a little bit easier to see what you're doing. So I think it's in here. So don't feel bad if you're like guessing, because I'm guessing too. 1. So you have to do 1 and then 2. 1, 2. So we're just going to continue doing this all the way around. I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, coming to the end of the round. So that's 15 that I've made, and then I go into the second last stitch. I make 1, so that's 16, and then I do 2 into where the stitch marker is. And so I've made my 18 single crochets. That's why I like to use a stitch marker. And I don't know why they don't say to use it, but I find it very, very, very helpful to keep me on track. Okay, so that's that one. So now what we have to do is make a round of 18. So I'm going to start just by doing a few, then I'll meet you at the end. So I believe the first stitch to work in is here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of the round. Okay, I'm coming to the end. I did my 17th. Now I'm going to do my very last stitch in where the stitch marker is. So remove the stitch marker and make your last single crochet where that stitch marker was to make 18 single crochets in that round. So I'm going to put that stitch marker back on. That's my go-to, man. I'd be so lost without that stitch marker. So I've done that. And so now we're going to start to decrease. So the feet are not as wide as the arms were. They started out a little bit wider because we did 6 single crochets. With the arms we did 5. So now we're going to decrease to 12, and then we're going to do a bunch of rows of 12. So I'll just show you the first part of that, which is crochet 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 single crochets together, 2 single crochet together, which is you go into that first or the second stitch. Now start to make your single crochet, and then to complete it you go into the third stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops. So that makes 2 together. So we've done 3. So we're just going to continue by doing that. We do a single crochet and then 2 together all the way around till you reach the stitch marker. And then you should have 12 at the end of that round. And I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so I finished that round. I did my my decreases. So now what we have to do is make 14 rows of 14 rounds of 12. So we're going to do that 14 times. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll meet you back at the end when I get to the part where I have to start stuffing it, I guess. I have to get more stuffing. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to edit this video so that it's done in order according to the pattern. I'm going to do my best. I'm just trying to get it all filmed and put together before I even have all my pieces, but hopefully I'll get it all perfect for you. All right, so I did the first leg. I finished my 14 single crochets, and now it says fill legs lightly with stuffing, fold the ends flat and single crochet along the top. Cut the yarn leaving a long tail for assembly. Okay, so I got more stuffing. Okay, so I'm just going to stuff it lightly like the instructions say. So just add a little bit of this. Maybe this might be too much. Well, that's good. That looks so cute. Okay. So you stuff it lightly, like so. And then this part is kind of, maybe I'll move it up a little bit, some of this stuffing to go into this side a little bit, because then when you put it on, when you sew it on, it just sits like that, his leg. It's so cute. All right, and then you just need to single crochet across to fasten it, to fasten it up. I don't know what happened with this stitch. I dropped it and it's not tightening, so I'm just going to leave it, and then I could probably weave it in. So you just go in. There, that blends right in. Can't tell. Make sure it's nice and even. And there we go. Just go along the edge. Hopefully you can see this. Hopefully I'm getting this on the camera. Sometimes I don't mean to do that, but that's because I can't see. So I need to put it so close to my face. And this working table is not very big. I just have it for recording purposes. Okay, we're almost there. So you just go through both sides, right? Hopefully you can see that okay. There we go. And then you make a long tail. Leave a long tail for sewing. I will cut it. And just pull it through like that. And there's my little leg. So now what you need to do, and what I need to do, is do another one. So just repeat these instructions that I did to make the leg, and make yourself another leg. So I'm going to make another leg and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I did the two little legs done. I just have to sew in all my ends and everything, but I have to separate that. Okay, I'm on the legs now. I did the I'll show you. I did his arms. He looks so cute. I'm sorry, I don't have the capability of zooming out with my setup here, so I have his arms on. So now I just have to sew his legs on. So I'm going to quickly show you. I threaded the needle, and then I'm just going to place it about there. And then the other one I will place about here. So he'll be even. And then when you flip him over, there's his legs. Cute, eh? Very cute. Okay, so you just, like I said, thread your needle and then just sew away to the bottom part of the body. And our little Mr. Snuggle is just about done. It's just so nice to make some handcrafted pieces to give away to people that you know are going to love them. So I hope you try it. It's not hard. It's just, you know, it's just a bunch of little pieces. And then you just have to sew them all together. But it is a lot of fun, and you have, you know, you have that sense of pride that you've made something, and you've made somebody's day. Like, this little girl's gonna love this. So that's basically all you have to do. Just sew it in to the rest of the body, the bottom part of the body. Then I'll do the other side, and then we will be just about done. There's one little finishing touch I want to do, and I'll be back to show you that. Okay, so this is my finishing touch. I just added a cute little ribbon to, this is going to be a Miss Snuggle, because for a little girl. I love the way it turned out. It's so soft. I love it. I'm going to take some pictures of it so you can see it. Probably in the beginning of the video. But anyways, finally I finished the tutorial. It was quite a challenge. I've never done anything like this before, recorded. So I really love the way it turned out. I think it's going to give this little girl lots of joy. It's very cute. It's very floppy and soft and squishy. Very cute. Here's the back. It's so cute. The little ears. It turned out really, really, really nice. Really happy with it. So I hope you try this. This is going to give a little kid lots of joy. I could not find the safety eye, so I used buttons. So, you know, be careful of the age of the child and try and secure them in as best as you can. But it turned out really nice. I hope you try it. I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. If you're new here, I would encourage you to please subscribe to Craving Crochet. I am trying to build my channel up, so I really appreciate all the support I can get. Really, really I do. And thank you so much for watching, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.